Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
When great-aunt Ramona Staples passed, I inherited her farmhouse. My parents wanted nothing to do with it, calling it a crumbling monument to eccentricity. For me, after a particularly nasty breakup and losing my job, it felt like a lifeline, a chance to disappear, to start over. The house, deep in the Catskills, was exactly what I needed. Isolated, quiet, full of the comforting scent of aged wood and forgotten dust. Ramona had been a recluse, known for her peculiar habits. My only memory of her was a vague sense of unease during childhood visits. The house reflected that: dark wood, heavy curtains, and shelves upon shelves of obscure leather-bound books. I spent the first few weeks cleaning, trying to make the place feel less like a mausoleum and more like a home. It was during this process, in the surprisingly sturdy, dry basement, that I found it. Behind a loose section of drywall, concealed perfectly, was a small, heavy door. Not like any other door in the house. It was made of blackened oak, reinforced with thick iron bands, and sealed with an ancient, corroded padlock. A shiver ran down my spine. Ramona had been odd, but this was beyond eccentric. With a pry bar and a good deal of effort, I managed to force it open. The air inside was thick, stagnant, carrying a faint, metallic scent I couldn't quite place. The room beyond was small, roughly 10 by 10 feet, and utterly bare save for one thing. In the center, on a crudely carved stone plinth, sat a jagged shard of something that looked like obsidian, but drank the light rather than reflecting it. It pulsed, not with light, but with a barely perceptible hum that vibrated in my teeth. As I stood there, a strange, nauseating dizziness washed over me. I felt a pressure behind my eyes, as if my very thoughts were being subtly rearranged. I backed out, slamming the heavy door shut, but the hum, faint as it was, seemed to follow me. That night I started forgetting things. Small things at first, where I'd put my keys, what I'd planned for dinner. Then it escalated. I forgot entire conversations I'd had with Kurt, my friend from the city. I'd call him, asking about something we'd supposedly discussed, and he'd sound confused, saying we hadn't spoken about it at all. He suggested I was stressed, overworked, but I knew deep down it was more than that. The hum from the basement was constant now, a low thrum against the bone behind my ears. I started seeing things, too, fleeting patterns of impossible geometry in the corners of my vision, shadows that moved against the direction of the light. Sometimes, I'd walk into a room and the furniture would feel subtly wrong, as if rearranged by an alien logic that my brain couldn't quite grasp. I'd find myself humming tunes I'd never heard, sketching strange symbols I'd never learned. It felt like my mind, my memories, were being slowly eroded, carved out and replaced by something else. A profound sense of dread settled over me, a chilling realization that the entity wasn't just in the house. It was beginning to take root within me. I called Kurt again, my voice trembling. He still tried to be rational, suggesting I come stay with him, see a doctor. But I couldn't leave. The house, the shard, had a hold on me, a terrifying fascination. And then I started remembering things that weren't mine. Flashes of an old woman with Ramona's piercing gaze, meticulously carving glyphs into the basement walls, talking to the obsidian shard as if it were a beloved confidant. These weren't memories I possessed, but they felt intensely real, more real than some of my own fading recollections. The entity, whatever it was feeding. It was digesting my personal history, filling the void with its own strange impressions. I realized the hum wasn't just a sound, it was the process of my identity being rewritten. I had to stop it. I had to face it, alone. My great-aunt Ramona had clearly kept it contained for decades, perhaps even been its caretaker, or its victim. I descended into the basement, the reinforced door now seeming to breathe with a silent expectation. The hum was deafening, vibrating through my entire body. The room felt larger, distorted, the walls seeming to curve inwards. The obsidian shard glowed with an internal, hungry light. I felt it probing not my thoughts but the very foundation of my being. It wanted a core memory, one that anchored myself, something fundamental to Kylie. It was an unspoken demand, a silent transaction. A piece of me for its silence, for my sanity. I closed my eyes, a single tear tracing a path down my cheek. I pictured it, the most formative, precious memory I had. The one that, without it, I wasn't sure who I would be. The shard pulsed, its light intensifying, pulling at the thread of that memory like a spider reeling in its prey. The pain wasn't physical, but an excruciating void, an amputation of the soul. I felt it tear away, a part of my consciousness simply vanishing. The world spun, then steadied. The light from the shard faded. The hum died down to a barely audible whisper, then to nothing. The air in the room, once thick with malevolence, was now just stale. The obsidian shard sat inert, a dull, dead stone. I stumbled out of the basement, my legs weak, and found myself standing in my living room, the late afternoon sun streaming through the window. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I am Kylie. I know that much. But the memory I gave it, the one that defined me, that shaped so much of who I am, it's gone. I don't remember what it was, only the crushing, terrifying absence where it used to be. The house feels empty now, but I wonder if the entity is truly gone, or if it simply retreated, sated with a piece of me, waiting for its next meal, waiting for me to forget myself entirely. The house is quiet now, but sometimes when I look in the mirror, I don't quite recognize the eyes staring back. They feel borrowed.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.